This is a test. This is only a test.
Right? You have to give up that Ed McMahon Publishers Clearinghouse handing over the big check political benefit.
No, Ed McMahon did not come to my house with a check.
Right. But this is the President of the United States, not Ed McMahon's Publishers Clearinghouse.
Of winning the Ed McMahon Publishers Clearinghouse.
Manuel was running around saying, hey, we're denying ourselves this Ed McMahon moment, that kind of squeal of Publishers Clearinghouse.
This is Rose Nyland. What? I'm one of the winners of the Publishers Clearinghouse? Ed McMahon wants to see me right away?
And, Ed McMahon, our good friend, could not be here, but it seems, David, that you are the $1 million winner.
Oh, my God! I've won $1 million!
NBC News reported that Hollywood icon Ed McMahon has died.
He served as a pitchman for Publishers Clearinghouse.
That we are faced with a staggering contradiction.
Well, let me clarify. So there were two sweepstakes at the time. There was the one that you hear about on TV with the Prize Patrol, and then there was another one called the American Family Publishers, and that had Ed McMahon and Dick Clark, if you may recall.
American Family's giant cash sweepstakes is in the mail right now. Grand prize, $10 million, and you may be the winner. So watch your mail for the American Family envelope with my picture.
Fact, Captain. Physical laws simply cannot be ignored. Exactly.
Well, come on, Spock. If you've got the answer, tell us.
Physical reality is consistent with universal laws. Where the laws do not operate, there is no reality.
When you look at where the towers used to stand, there is surprisingly so little rubble. Where did all the rubble go?
It's a very good question, Peter, and I have asked some people who've been doing some of the rescue and recovery work this morning. If you look behind me, you can see the very remains, the skeletal remains of the World Trade Center. And one volunteer, Robert Gerlinski, explained to me the reason there's so little rubble is that all of it simply fell down into the ground and was pulverized, evaporated. It's evaporated. It's evaporated. It's evaporated. It's evaporated.
Of which will be security for the participants in those marketplaces downtown, the New York Stock Exchange being the principal exchange in Lower Manhattan. It is likely, one would assume, that because of the worry that disrupting the financial markets could be worse than letting them open up and respond to the situation, that tomorrow may be the only day on which the various exchanges are closed.
It's evaporated. It's evaporated. It's evaporated. It's evaporated. It's evaporated.
All of this is unreal.
What do you mean unreal?
But you made your examination under conditions which we cannot trust. We judge reality by the response of our senses. Once we are convinced of the reality of a given situation, we abide by its rule.
We can see people got their hands in the air. This was a pretty famous. I mean, they got the cell phones looking at this thing. Okay, so obviously they know. Look at this guy with this camera. He's checking it out. Okay, this is happening. Let's watch it some more. I mean, it's epically failing. That's the fake sun failing because it's being eclipsed. Absolutely crazy stuff.
After 37 years without use, the thrusters on NASA's Voyager 1 successfully fired up for the first time. It's giving new hope to the agency's most versatile spacecraft.
And despite its vast distance, it still communicates with NASA to receive routine commands and return data.
We still communicate with the Voyagers. They send us signals every day.
After decades of inactivity, NASA engineers managed to fire up the backup thrusters of the spacecraft. According to NASA, these thrusters fire in tiny pulses or puffs, lasting mere milliseconds to subtly rotate the spacecraft so that its antenna points to our planet.
Wrong. Exactly.
Transmitters on the Voyager spacecraft are slightly over 20 watts, about what your refrigerator light bulb would give off. So when the signal crosses that vast distance to us, the strength of the signal is 1/10 trillionth of a billionth of a watt, which is the equivalent of 1 divided by 10 with 21 zeros after it.
Right.
Vice President Harris tweeted out this. Vice President Harris said, by vaccinating, increasing our testing and masking, and protecting the vaccinated, we can end this pandemic. Which sort of raises an obvious question. If the vaccine protects, why do the vaccinated need protecting? I think it's pretty basic question. So
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
Wrong.
We're going to take a look at how this particular forest fire, this force of nature, decided to burn when it got to the suburban development. Now let's drift the camera a little bit to the left. Now this forest fire, when it got to this suburban tract, decided that the houses were more important to burn than the trees. And we're going to drift down a little bit here, speaking of trees. Now, to the left of this group of trees or bushes, you see the shell of a burned out car. Now, the energy that it takes to blast all of the glass out of the car, to burn all the rubber tires off the car, that's pretty intense energy. So in that spot, there was an amazing amount of energy and heat being expended. And yet, the trees and the bushes off to the right of this particular car did not burn.
Take a second to honestly observe the following picture and tell me what this looks like to you. If you said a bunch of cardboard, construction paper, curtain rods, gold tape, and foil, you would be correct. If instead you said the National Aeronautics and Space Administration's highest technological achievement, incapable of being reproduced today, the Apollo 11 lunar lander, then you would also be correct.
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented,
It would seem to follow that the odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Where the laws do not operate, there is no reality. We judge the bullets to be solid, the guns to be real. Therefore, they can kill.
Chekhov is dead because he believed the bullets would kill him.
He may indeed be dead. We do not know.
But we do know that the Melkotians created the situation. If we do not allow ourselves to believe that the bullets are real, they cannot kill us.
Exactly. I know the bullets are unreal. Therefore, they cannot harm me.
We must all be as certain as you are, Mr. Spock, if we're to save our lives.
Precisely.
That's not possible. There'd always be some doubt.
The smallest doubt would be enough to kill you.